We're back,
Hello.
Ashley James.
Again, number 5.
This is number 5 of Somewhere on the Spectrum. Brought to you by Quarantine Still, which is
That
like dirty
tastes like-
diapers running over Ash's hair.
Like rollerblades made of stale biscuits.
That's exactly what it's like. As you can probably tell, we have special guests with us today. The lovely Sarah Lyndon Gregson and
Savannah Rose Phibbs.
the Kiwi that keeps our hearts beating.
Straight up not enjoying this experience.
No, I think weirdly, the two people that are on the spectrum are the ones who are most used to this. And the two people who are not are feeling uncomfortable.
Very
So
true.
this is a rare power shift.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like
It's
it.
relaxing.
So what are we talking about today?
We are going to be talking about, well, it's the painful episode we've been dreading.
The dreading episode.
We're essentially going to be interviewing the ladies and asking how it is to live with us. Which is scary.
We have been I think what the girls don't know is because they probably haven't even watched our shows yet.
No, I know Sav
because
hasn't.
we hear them talk about stuff
Well,
like
yes.
this all day, every day. No, we don't really need to
But Ash
watch.
was like, watch 40 minutes of this, and I was like, nope.
It's good to know that
I know
we're
exactly
supported.
what you and Tyler
know, right?
talk about.
They were like, we're
I
really
watched
thankful.
like hit moments.
You were thankful for 40 minutes apiece, and then I was like, no, have 40 minutes.
More.
Yeah,
of
now
listening
that
to
you had your 40
ramble.
minutes peace and quiet, go
Yeah,
watch us, the idiots.
No thanks.
Well, so had you have watched, you would have heard us for the last 3 weeks talk about this episode and talk
4
about
weeks.
4 weeks, how we were dreading it.
Hey.
Because
Not
we know
not
what a
because
pain
we-
in the ass we are.
Not because of you.
No, because of us is the truth. Also, Ash, should we address the elephant in the room about our intro and outro that we said that we weren't going to have and now we have?
That's a little bit of an issue, yeah. So we pre-recorded some just to get them out the way, and then we just sort of got a bit curious of what an intro would look like, so I just made one.
And it looks amazing. And so now, last episode, which would have been number 4, we said, we're going to work on an intro and an outro, but now we have them on episode 3 and 4, and we will on this episode 5.
I don't
So
think
then-
anybody's going to be like auditing that.
I don't think so either.
I think it's
No.
okay.
I think we're going to
Just
be
in
okay
case.
here.
We're just
Just
covering
They
our
have a thin
backs.
candy shell. Yeah.
In case we end up in court or something.
But then
Maybe
they'll only
IQ
realize
lawyers.
it. They'll only realize it when you get to this episode.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Oh.
That's what went wrong.
I'm so confused.
And we're
But, yeah.
wonderfully off track as always.
We are. So today's episode, I have notes, which is uncharacteristic of us,
I know.
is about loving someone with ASD. And we can't talk about that because while I love Ash, I have
love you.
ASD and he does. So we would be what is it called? Unreliable narrators.
But it was
Can't
also a
have
different
that.
kind of love,
It sure is.
slightly.
I also feel like a biased.
Yeah, we're biased.
Yeah, we're awesome. What are you talking about? Come
We're
on.
like the best thing that's ever happened.
Well, we know that you think so.
First of all, also another elephant in the room. I have
That
less hair.
Is
You
hair.
really do.
And
Do you know
guess
what-
who cut it?
Oh no.
That lady
Hold on.
right there.
Hold that.
It only took
Hold on
3
a
hours.
second.
Oh, do you want
Oh.
to pause it, Tyler?
Nah, let's just keep going and he can
Okay.
he can work his way back in.
You don't have a charger in it, honey.
See, this is perfect. This is what it's like
Perfect.
to love someone with ASD.
Exactly, and we may die. So,
At any moment,
not
there might be
not
a
in
fire.
general, but the laptop. But maybe.
This is actually perfect. I'm glad we didn't pause
I
it
want to
because
introduce you
this
to my life with like
Oh
technology.
jeez, yeah.
I got like a wonderful charger for like each room because I thought that'd be really good and wise. And now this one just decided to back out halfway through doing this.
I feel like
And
that's
he got
because
here in the nick of time.
Anybody out there who wants to donate to somewhere on the spectrum, Ash is in desperate need of a new laptop.
Everything
But
is
he's
falling
back.
apart.
It's all right. That's that's a metaphor for our entire lives. So I have a set of questions here that I have saved.
Oh man.
And I might just pick one at random. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask it, and then we're going to give Sav and Sarah a minute, or not a minute, like it won't be a timed exercise, but they each get
Think
their own
about it.
opportunity to answer it based on each other, on us.
Okay.
I like
Because
that.
I think we had a lot of questions when we raised this question. We had a lot of people who wrote in and said, I'm worried about my kid growing up and finding love and trying to be in relationships. Is it possible? What is it like? What are some pitfalls? And
And we're going
again,
to handle all that.
we're going to handle all of it. Ash and I can't answer that, but you two decided to embark on this journey. And so now you have to help other people who might be doing the same.
Okay.
Okay, so
And if
actually
we don't
that's
cover it, we can just bring them back again later down
we
the road.
can with a charger in your laptop.
Well, hopefully when that works. I don't trust this one.
Okay, so question number 1, this is a perfect one to start with. What
Okay.
are things you wish you knew heading into loving someone with ASD and that you think would help others if they are getting ready to do the same?
Who's going first?
Ooh,
Whoever wants to.
that was a weird noise, wasn't it?
I was really close to that.
Giving me the questions ahead
I know,
of
but
time
it's
so
be-
I could think about
To
it.
be fair,
Sarah wanted the
to be
questions
fair,
first. I
Tyler
said
did
no.
give Ash them, and then Ash did give
Yeah.
them to me.
Yeah.
But
I-
that was only like half an hour
That
ago,
was
so I
like
haven't even
12
really
minutes
thought
ago.
about that. Yeah,
See, the reason why I didn't want to do that was I
so you
wanted,
don't have time to think about it.
exactly, I wanted the raw gut reaction. Because if you can process it, then
But I've heard it
becomes-
now. So if she changes it, I'll call her out.
That's true.
Don't
So
worry
why don't we
about
let
that.
Sav kick it off? And Sav, what
See
are
this
some
one?
things you
Okay,
wish
sorry.
you knew heading into this?
This little love machine.
Well, I said to Ash before, I was like, I don't think you can ever expect things in a relationship. You know, you can't. Well, you have your what do I
Say it
try to
nicely.
say?
Kindly.
Expectations, but I don't think I ever thought I'm going into a relationship with someone with autism. You know, like I didn't ever think. I just fell in love with who he was, not because of
Anything else?
exactly, or
Yeah.
like things
And
that
you also mentioned
made him different.
how everyone's sort of different.
Well,
on the
that's what I was saying. Like
spectrum and-
everyone on the spectrum is different. So even if someone told me like you might expect this, like that might not be anything to do with Ash. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like completely varies, and especially with person to person, like you're never gonna have the same thing with someone either. I'm nervous.
That's good. I like. So is there anything now that you understand that you like, if you could have told your old self, like, hey, here's a little tip. Like if you
Yeah.
do this or that, that'll help this or this.
Oh yeah, I think patience a lot, like a lot of patience,
Yeah.
and also
That feels good.
like realize that we do have differences, and like some things affect him way more. Like if the vacuum's going, like he gets really overwhelmed by it, but to me I'm just like, it's just another noise.
Yeah.
So, you know, like just understanding more as well, and realizing that we are
Yeah.
two
Perfect.
yeah.
That makes
What about
sense.
you?
Sarah, would you like to ring in?
You don't need to move that.
Yeah, let's go quickly. Just shut that.
I did just snore as well.
Sarah, same question.
Same one.
What was the question?
So basically, what are some things you wish you knew heading into loving someone with ASD, and that you think would maybe help others? Like if let's say Addie was grown up, or
Mhm.
one of your cousins called you and is like, hey, I'm starting to date this guy. He's on the spectrum. What's going on? What do I look for?
Well, I would say go for it, because there's not ever going to be someone who loves you as intensely as someone on the spectrum. Although everyone's
That's our
so
new
different.
catchphrase. By the way.
Loving you intensely since 1981.
Oh, well, because I have my degree in
Yeah, you're
special
uniquely
education,
qualified.
and specifically in autism, and I think I went into
You were
it
prepared, like
knowing a
was.
lot.
trained.
Yes, I was
You did 3
trained
years
for
of
this.
training to get into this relationship.
I'm like the
I also-
marathon she never knew she was running.
And maybe that's why like we both have uniquely perspectives, because like even I studied psychology for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that,
So insights.
like Sav said, everyone is so different on the spectrum. You can't really, there's not one thing to know other than patience. Although I think that's with all relationships.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's unique to someone who has ASD. I think that's
Just maybe
all
dialed up a little bit
relationships.
more.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more.
Like to 12
on
or
things that
something.
you don't normally have to have patience
Yeah, that's
Like
about.
what? Like what?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Especially if you go into one with children.
That's true. That's
know,
a
you
big
have
thing that
to-
you two don't deal with.
Mm.
No. that is
Because
a
I
big
have
difference.
endless amounts of patience for my children. A
Yeah.
little less for Tyler sometimes. So I think that that's something, like I said, all relationships take quite a
Yeah.
bit of patience, although loving someone on the spectrum takes a little extra.
A little extra kick in the
I
butt.
love it.
It's definitely not a bad thing. We're worth
No.
it.
Okay, that's actually a
That
good.
would be what I would say.
That's
honestly.
good advice.
Okay.
And
You're
that's a
worth
good
it.
that's a good segue into the next question. What is the best and the worst part of living and loving somebody like us?
Sarah can go first this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
The best is, like I said before, there's just no one like you. And there's never, ever, ever a dull moment. Like I am never bored. That is
That's
definitely,
exactly it, yeah.
I am never bored. In fact, I had a dream the other night that he died and I was sobbing. And the first thing that I said in the dream was, my life is going to be so boring. And that is true. I mean, that is I am never bored with him. That is for sure. And if you allow yourself to follow down the weird roads that his brain and his heart take, it's just amazing.
I live on those streets.
Yes.
You do.
The hardest
We're
part
neighbors.
is maybe the same thing. I always say that my favorite thing about him is his passion, whether it's positive passion or negative passion. It's my most favorite and least favorite thing about him, because
I can understand that.
yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh my
He is
God,
a
can you just
committed
not-
cannonball.
He is.
Yes.
That just is
Can you
coming
just
through
not
that
have
wall
an
one way or
opinion,
another.
please?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So
Oh, yeah.
I would say that's the hardest part is,
It's a true
I
story.
don't know if you even answered this one, so this is going to be
Well, no, I
interesting.
did.
Ooh.
Because I said, we said the exact same things. Like I was saying how you can never be bored with Ash. And also because his childlike mind, in some ways, he just finds everything amazing. No matter how small, it's just everything.
I'm
ice cream
left
is
in
the best thing
awe
ever.
over
know?
the
So it's
smallest
just-
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he just constantly brightens my day. Even though
Oh.
I guess on the other side, he can have really bad days too. And that's quite hard to
Yeah.
deal with. So when we call it his bad head day. So that means when he's feeling really overwhelmed by noise and everything's too much and he just wants to be in his jumper, hoodie, in bed. That's what we do.
That's life. And you
So
make
it's
me not eat microwave fries.
yeah, exactly. So his thing used to be microwave frise, and now I get him to eat normal food.
And I won't lie, I've missed microwave fries.
Wait, do you microwave cook them?
Yeah.
They're in a little box, and he literally would love it, and they'd be crispy still.
and they're
or
Are they all
crispy.
squishy?
No, they're
no,
crispy.
it's weird.
How do you?
Weird.
I want those.
What is
They're
wrong?
incredible.
It's wrong.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I will find them.
But he used
It's
to
probably
only...
Send me a photo of the ingredients.
It's probably beef lard wrapped around
yeah,
it.
probably. Well, there is no ingredients because they're frozen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Frozen fries.
I've never even heard of such things.
No,
Yeah,
I'd
they're
never
real.
either.
They're fantastic.
Never.
They sound
yeah.
amazing.
But
Those
he
are good
just-
answers.
Yeah, he just has an amazing mind. So that's.
He sure does.
I think it is like that boredom thing though, because I get quite annoyed. Like sometimes when people just say like, "Oh, there's nothing to do."
Yeah.
Like, that's a phrase to me that
Yeah,
doesn't
he
really
drives me
exist.
crazy.
No.
Like, I'm just gonna. There's nothing to do. There's
Yeah, I
always
don't
something.
understand boredom.
No,
I've
not
never
me.
understood
It's
that
a concept. Nope, that I just
Yep,
it just
it's a
doesn't link
choice.
with me.
This is a choice.
It is. You choose whether or not you're bored.
But sometimes you kind of just want to turn him off. Sometimes, you know,
Or
because he's just
down,
like
at least.
constant. Yeah,
I don't stop.
I don't either.
Not in a bad way, but like,
I'm laying in
Yeah.
bed and like Sam's like half asleep, and then like
oh, he's wired
something-
at night.
something would
Wired.
come to my head, and I'm like, I gotta share it immediately. Like, whether it's
Yes.
like I gotta read her a poem, or I gotta do this. I'm like, oh my god, this poem just came to my head. Is it any good? And it's like 90% of the time not, because it's just words that
Yeah.
aren't linked yet.
I
She's
love
like,
it.
just go to sleep.
I think that's an interesting thing because I mean, this whole thing is called Somewhere on the Spectrum. And I think what's interesting is hearing Sav talk about your bad days and your bad head days and stuff. I have bad days too, but I think what's interesting is I think the way that you and I react to our bad days are completely different.
Yeah.
And maybe that's circumstantial too. Like I don't have the ability
Especially
here,
if we have the kids.
especially if the kids are here. I don't have the ability to have one of those days. I just can't, but I'm still
Yeah.
having it. So I
Yeah.
think what's been a big challenge for me and is having those bad days where all I want to do is go inside my brain and not come out at all.
Yeah.
I have to figure out ways to still
Answer
Function.
Abby's 4,000
yes,
questions.
yeah, answer a million questions about like I mean
Is this your favorite color or
Yeah.
is this your favorite
Hey.
color? Can you label which?
yeah, put all the letters in the alphabet in order of most favorite to least favorite. And then like
Well, I
So-
think
he
like
does
Ash. Yeah, I think like Ash is gonna way better. Like his bad days, like far and few now.
yeah.
And I think he used to hide in his room a lot, especially when it was just him living with his parents. Like he was
Sure.
constantly just hiding.
I'm good. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're a big part of why he's gotten
Yes.
better. Sever
Yeah.
have a ding dong.
Mm.
All right,
Well,
so
he
actually-
did not. He couldn't hold hands before with anyone. He hated germs. He couldn't even. The idea of holding someone's hand was like sickening. And he told me
Yeah.
that the first time I met him. He was like, "I probably won't be able to hold your hand." And now he shakes hands with strangers.
That's a good
You
introduction.
know, like
right
he's
there.
just
By the way,
so.
just letting you know.
Nice to meet you.
I will
Just-
never hold your hand.
your hands
No.
are disgusting. Keep them away from me.
Yeah, because honestly, he tried to go to like a job interview once,
Yeah.
and he literally ran away because he was gonna have to shake the guy's
Mm.
hand.
He
Like,
put his
you can't
hand
do
down,
that.
and I just ran away.
Yeah.
See, but you
So
were
that's how much
smart.
anxiety-
So
like-
now
Yeah. I
nobody
was
like,
shakes
nope.
hands.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
were just
true.
ahead of the curve, man.
Exactly, ahead of my time.
Yeah.
Now you could just be like social distance.
Yeah.
Back it up 6 feet.
No hugs.
Yeah,
But
they,
you love
they've
hugs.
extended it to 8 feet. So
Oh,
like,
8? That's even better.
Well, it's not real.
Oh,
it doesn't
well.
really
It's
happen.
not
But I
free.
convinced you. So
I want 10 feet.
so I can convince
all times.
anyone.
10 feet at all times, and I'm happy.
There we go.
Okay, so then that's a good one. Okay, now that we know the best parts and the worst parts, this is a harder question. What are things that you wish we could change or that you wish you could change? Not necessarily about us, but about the situation. Like, is there anything that if you could wave a magic wand and have something else happen, what would it be?
Ooh. Something else happened.
Well, like,
I know
just, yeah,
Sav's
something-
answer.
Something about, if it's like whether it's a
See.
personality thing about us or a circumstance thing or whatever, what is something that if you could wave a magic wand and say this will make life easier?
It would only be your allergies.
Oh, okay. So nothing
Your
about
food
the
allergies.
spectrum.
No, definitely not.
What? Whoa.
Oh, see, mine would be
What?
just to help him. It would be like how noise affects him. 'Cause I hate how much it like affects him so much. Like some days
Yeah.
are just so terrible for him. So,
Yeah.
like if he could just like switch it off for a bit,
That would be
that would
fantastic.
I would like
Can
that
you
too.
wear like noise
Well,
canceling
that's why
headphones?
I give
I
him.
do,
I tell him to wear his
usually.
headphones when it gets way too much.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, then I have
Which
like
is
some days I have a rebel, but I'm like, I shouldn't have to do it. I'm not doing
Well,
it.
yeah, because
Exactly.
for like Christmas, I told one of like Ash's mom's friend to like give her friend's kid has also autism or cannot speak. But I was like,
Sav
get him
has
some
not been
headphones,
drinking.
like get him some like wireless headphones so he can just
Yeah.
be in his own little world, you know, because like noise is such
Mm.
like a big thing, and I
Which we
think
did
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
in the previous
And he's
episode.
more on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's so nice now because wireless headphones are so mainstream.
Yep.
And so
yeah,
to wear
easy.
them everywhere you go all the time, most
And
people
not even
do.
yeah,
It's
and not
like a
even like you can
normality,
notice
yeah.
it anymore.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's like,
literally
yeah.
why I bought these. The only reason
Yeah.
I have these is noise is huge for me too. And it finally got to the point where Sarah and I were talking, and I was like, and I think part of what like precipitated this was the whole quarantine and always being at home and the kids being here 24/7, no school, no nothing. And so
I get.
we finally decided that for me to be okay, I have to have an ability to put something in where I'm completely isolated and I don't have to. And if they're in, it's a visual cue to be like, oh,
He needs them.
he needs a minute.
Yeah.
And it honestly, even just having them this short amount of time has helped a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think that's
It
something
says-
that the people who do have ASD in a relationship, that would be something that would be helpful
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
partner, is if you have a visual cue to let them know, hey,
That you
like
need
time.
I need a minute,
Just
instead of just blowing up or
Yeah.
retreating
Well, that's
into yourself.
exactly-
Like a visual cue is
I
really
think that-
helpful.
Yeah, because I think that would help so much, like, because especially if we're all in the kitchen, like with his parents, and they're talking, and I'm just like making dinner. To me, it's just like a normal night, but to Ash,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like overwhelming. He'll just snap at me, like
so just
have little snappy
Yeah,
comments,
like-
and I'm like, "What is going on with you?" But you know, if he
Yeah.
told me like I'm overwhelmed, but sometimes he just doesn't know it at the time too. So it's
Yep.
just like if he
Right.
could.
Well, I think, Ash, maybe are you the same with me on this? Do you wrestle with yourself a lot of the times too because you feel guilty? Like I'm always very hesitant to put in the headphones even when I need them because
yeah.
then I feel guilty where it's like I'm supposed to be here right now and I'm supposed to be
But
present
I
right
would
now.
prefer that.
yeah.
Well, see,
That's
that's-
what that's how
Yeah,
I
me
feel
too.
though. It's like
I feel guilty about it. I'm like I should be able to just deal with this. And if especially like when the
Well,
kids
that's-
aren't here because I
yeah.
still have those days. And if
Mhm.
I feel like we have this week where it's our time where we can just do whatever we want, if I'm still having a moment of feeling overwhelmed, I feel really hesitant to put them in because then it's like I'm not shutting you out.
I
But
never mind.
okay,
Maybe
well,
And
that's
we-
good to
that
know.
makes me think of
maybe
when
we
you
need
said
to
that.
find you something that's like that makes you feel comfortable. Like get you a hat, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you put that hat on, it means you need a minute.
It's a cue.
Yep.
I can-
And make it really dumb so when you see yourself, you'll be like, oh, I feel better.
Exactly. That's a good idea.
But yeah, it made me think about how, like, when you were saying like you feel like sometimes like guilty about not being able to do certain things because you're feeling overwhelmed. Like before Ash, like it's when he's trying to cook breakfast and he like cracks an egg and he breaks it and he's like, well, this is such a simple thing to
Eggs
do,
Kill me.
but I can't do it.
Eggs
But
are
like
my
it's just
weakness.
mostly if he's on a bad day or he's feeling overwhelmed
Sure,
or like
Sure.
it's just too much for him. And he's like, why can't I do this? It's such a simple thing.
Or if you
And he
buy
beats himself
shitty
up about
eggs.
it. So.
I'll tell you why. Because sure as eggs is eggs.
Sure as eggs is eggs. Life
All
isn't
right.
always a pocket of peaches.
Isn't that the damn truth? All right, I'm gonna save Ash. I'm gonna save your one question that we both liked. I'm gonna save that for the end. So now I'm
Okay.
gonna say,
Yeah.
what is our most annoying trait? Because I know that
Steph-
we
Steph
frustrate
just
you.
mate a list. Like literally, I saw her eyes
Instantly.
go, and like I just saw the scroll. I literally just saw the scroll drop.
Like,
I won't go first. Sarah, you go first.
Sarah first.
oh,
like-
your
And it-
most annoying
Well,
trait.
or like a list. Like
Your
yeah, it can.
obstinance.
That's fair. It can be, and it can be not the single most. What are traits that annoy you? Because I think a lot of people who are going to be listening to this
Mhm.
have kids or even partners or whatever, where they have a lot of things that really do annoy them. And they're probably feeling guilty and afraid to admit that there's things that are
True.
frustrating because it's like,
Mhm.
oh, they're dealing with a disability or a handicap or whatever. But I think, Ash, I don't know if I speak for you. I would rather just know what am I, because
Yeah.
sometimes I don't even have a clue. What am I doing that's annoying?
No, but I think me and
See,
you
I
are
don't
on
know
that
if
same
that has
level.
anything to do with ASD or if that's just you too. But
I feel like the two are
Um,
intrinsically linked.
Yeah, they
Well, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But I would definitely say your inability to let things go.
That's true.
And to
I believe that.
so
That might be more personality.
not be allowed, like you can't just let something fix itself. You have to try and
Oh.
fix
Yeah.
it.
Oh my god, it's
And I
literally
can't-
Ash.
It makes me nuts because there are a lot of times where I need to tell him something that's bothering me or worrying me or upsetting me, and I just need him to listen. Maybe I need like a visual cue
You
too.
do. You should do.
Like,
Yeah.
I
You need a
don't want
hat
you
as
to
well.
fix this.
Yep.
I just need you to listen and like understand and then let it go. But you can't do that.
No.
So that would be something that's difficult. And as far as something on the spectrum, I don't know if it's, again, it might just be you, but
Well, see, I think
the
what's-
lack of filter sometimes
Yeah,
is
that's true.
challenging. A lot of times I love it. Around the kids, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, did he seriously just say that?
The amount
Yeah,
of
I do
things
that
I
a lot.
say, and then
Well-
Sav just looks at me and she's like,
Well, and it's also
Yeah.
like social cues. Like sometimes
Yeah.
Ash misses that. Like with my friends, like he would just randomly outburst like a random thing, and you're like, that wasn't normal.
it was on my mind. I'm
But even
pointing
though
it
it's
out
not,
there.
like you're allowed to be. Like
Yeah.
you can be as weird as you want, but like
Don't hold it
he
back.
just doesn't have
No.
any filter.
Yes.
What's interesting is Sav said, I wonder if that's more of a personality thing. And I think, Ash, maybe you'll agree with this. I think that's one of the things that I not struggle with, but that I think of a lot when it comes to ASD. I think when people look from the outside in a lot, they think, oh, that's just a choice. Or like with the filter thing, like, oh, you cannot say those things. He's just choosing to say those things. Or like Sarah saying,
Yeah.
not letting things go, like just learn to let it go. And so it seems like a personality trait, but for me, I want to let it go, but I physically cannot sometimes. And it's like, I so badly just want to be like, all right, close this page, just move on. But my brain, it just keeps needling me. And it's like, no, but they didn't think about this, or
And like for weeks,
for
Okay,
weeks.
yeah.
he'll just come back to that one thing.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
don't want to do that
Yeah.
at all.
But I think we are the same on that. So like if you want to class it as personality or on the spectrum, it's weird how that comes into both
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that need to understand is very
Well, that's the
Mhm.
thing, because like I
know?
might be mad about something, and he has to know the emotion I'm feeling. Like he has to understand it. If
Instantly.
he doesn't
I just need to,
understand it, he'll push me and push me.
I'm like,
And
just
he'll be like, "Why
just-
can't you say it?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what I'm feeling yet." And he
Yeah.
just wants to identify it straight away.
So the same
So-
thing.
And honestly, like that's our fights. He'll be like, "It's your communication," but I'm like, "But you force me to have to say how I feel right there." But sometimes I just want to sit on it a little bit.
But I
and
think
think
part
about
of that,
Yeah.
is just because of how outward I am.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
I was the same, and it's just like at the moment I feel it, I'm like, I'm angry,
Yeah.
and like like like
Yeah.
you know where I'm at, and it's the mystery emotion that I can't
Well,
fathom.
I think this is also one of the
Which
things.
is
Like he
like-
kind of was like, "Do you really want to mention it?" But he,
Oh,
like
yeah.
when he's really mad,
So,
he'll
when I
like
get
this
really
is an
angry-
autism thing. Like he'll hit himself in the
I
head,
do.
like he does with anything he's holding.
Mhm.
Just smash his head, like, and that like for a partner that can be quite scary at first.
Yeah.
You're like, "What's
Mhm.
happening? Like, why are you doing that? I don't want like you don't want him to do that to himself." But
Yeah.
it's just his way of frustration, and it's when he
Mhm.
doesn't understand something. Like
Yeah,
we
I
read
think
a lot
that's-
about it.
That is, yeah.
It
It
was.
was
It was literally how
actually
he feels. Yeah.
quite funny because like when it happened last time, I looked it up because we were doing like this, and I remember going through the list, and like she was like, yes,
Because
and
it
I'm like,
was because he was.
and I'm like,
He
one
didn't
of the
understand what I
things-
was feeling. Like it was all these things, like why he would hit himself. Like because
Yeah.
that's just his way of.
But on one of
coping.
them that we didn't link with, was like you're feeling like a bully,
Yeah.
and I just looked at Sam, was like, you're a bully, Sam. You're a biggest bully.
That's so interesting. See, I have the same thing, but I think part of the thing might be that we did grow up staggered in years. Like I went through the whole system before you did. And
Yeah.
so a lot of the behaviors that I really wanted to exhibit growing up, I couldn't. So I just had to figure out ways, like alternative ways to do it. And so it's interesting because when I get super, super overwhelmed emotionally, whether it's sad or angry or whatever, I don't hit myself in the head, but I still have scars on my hands from my own fingernails because I would like grab like this because I didn't want anybody to see that I was experiencing it. And I would end up like scratching against my own hand to the point where I still to this day have scars from literally just like repetitively scratching in the exact same spot so no one would see it. And then I would be like, oh, a dog scratched me, or I cut it on a fence or something. But it's the same thing because it seems like a choice from the outside. But when you're in that,
Yeah.
and I think it's interesting hearing both of them say that they just need a minute, because for us, I don't know, Ash, I think you're the same. I know exactly what I'm feeling at every exact second. And
I
so,
think so, yeah.
and I just say it and I am that. And I would rather, like, I would be mad for 5 minutes and then it'll go away. And
I
so
think
it's
the issue is-
hard.
Yeah, and like you guys are so aware of like people's emotions too. Like he can instantly tell when my mood's changed or if my face looks different in some way. Like he's just so observant in that way where he just notices everything.
Yeah,
So he's like, I can tell what you're feeling, but you like I don't know it yet.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm still
Yeah.
processing it. Like
Well, I
I don't
messaged
know.
Tyler
That's
the other
exactly
day,
the same.
and I
Yeah.
literally said to Tyler, I was like, hey, can you smell sadness? And he was like, yeah, I got
Well, he
what you
could.
mean.
He smells like he said to me the other day. He was like, "You smell of sadness today," and I was so sad.
Like
But
I
I didn't know
literally
why.
couldn't have my eyes closed. Like, Sam, stop being sad.
Yeah.
Me
Stop
too.
that.
And like, I mean, what did I say it smelled like?
Like rain on fireworks.
Yeah, rainfall and fireworks. That's what
Yeah.
it smells. There's like a weird, and I can do that with all of Sarah's feelings. Like,
Oh, yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I can
'Cause
know.
he said it's when I'm sick or anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anything.
And then it just
I
annoys
can't
me, and I
explain
try
the
and
sick
pretend
smell.
like I'm not.
Yeah,
feeling that.
exactly.
Like,
Well,
no,
that's just an
what are you talking about?
Well, his annoying thing is when I say I'm fine, and he's like, "Well, you're not."
Yes.
Yes.
But it's
No,
but
you're
you know,
not.
like,
Just say it.
but I just want to
sometimes
say
you
I'm
just don't
fine.
wanna
I just
talk
want to
about
say I'm fine. Like I'm fine.
I get so upset. I'm like, here's literally what I say to her when she says that. I'm like, I know you're not. We're gonna talk about it in 20 to 45 minutes anyway. So just bypass the bullshit and tell me what you're doing now.
Yeah, he would be like, you will think about this for hours, and then hours later we'll have the same conversation where we could have had it here. So tell me now, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But one of his other annoying traits about
Why?
She's
Why
like,
did I-
but let's
Well,
circle back.
yeah, circle back. Is that he sometimes, it's not that annoying, but it's just like he'll repeat himself like 3 to 4 times when he doesn't feel like it sounds right.
Yeah, like,
Like, it's not to
I
do
gotta
with,
get
like,
it right.
me hearing it. It's just he needs to have it sound right.
Yeah.
Like the words feel right. So he'll repeat things and I'm like, yeah, I have heard it.
That
And then
can
he'll keep
literally
going.
be
He'll keep
anything.
going.
I'm like, what do you want for breakfast? Oh, what do you want for breakfast? What do you want for breakfast?
He'll say it like that.
Because
like,
I gotta get it right
constantly.
in my head. I'm like, all right, that didn't come out right.
And sometimes I forget. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, do you want eggs? Do you want eggs? Do you want eggs?
Yeah.
Hey, 3 times you know they heard it.
Yeah.
Exactly, right. It's just reassurance.
Uh-huh.
Sarah always says that I syllabically pronounce words wrong. She says that I say words in the wrong,
I didn't say wrong.
Well,
different. You
and
just put
the wrong
the-
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
uh-huh.
Yeah, she like, what's one of them?
Umbrella
Yeah, she says I say that word weird.
instead of umbrella.
Say it.
Well, you gotta say it.
I say umbrella.
So he emphasizes the not the
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get that. Do you
Yeah.
think that's because you spend so long counting syllables? That you're just
don't
like,
know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Umbrella.
The sad thing is the closest person I've ever met in my life that has the same speech patterns as I do is my little sister's son, Moyer. And we have spoken the same since he was 3 years old. Like the way
Wow.
he speaks at 3 is the way that I still speak now without knowing it. And McGraw will call sometimes and she'll say things and she'll be like, oh my God, Moyer said this today. And it was so you. And it's Sarah will call McGraw and be like, and this is like, he's only, how old is he now? 6?
Yeah.
Oh, he's 6 now. And like Sarah and McGraw will talk and be like, Tyler had a Moyer thing today. And McGraw will say, Moyer had a Tyler thing today. That's pretty,
That's cool.
that's
I can
scary.
definitely see that because I've obviously met him and yeah, I can see that being a thing for sure.
Yeah.
But I
You're
wish you told me about
princess.
that when you were together, so I could have analyzed it more.
Oh man. All right. Well, this is a funny one then.
Okay.
What is the
Okay.
weirdest thing you've ever caught or seen them doing?
Well, Sam's point straight off the bat was, and it was an interesting point. She's like, I've never caught you doing anything weird because you just do it.
She does it
That's
all the
true.
time.
Yeah.
So I don't
true.
even know, like you're like,
And
Doesn't
like,
even seem weird.
no.
yeah, and I read the question to her, and this doesn't look good for me. But and she was literally like, I can't think of anything, and then I listed her some things that were really weird, and she was like, oh yeah, but that's just you.
Yeah,
No.
we've
And it's
desensitized
just
them.
normal. It has.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
majorly.
that's the weird things.
Because when I think about weird, I'm like, oh well, he does some things, but I'm just like he does weird things with but they're just him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like random music things or like blurting out things. Like I can't think of anything super weird.
There's a lot.
Can you?
Well, no, I mean everything you do is.
She has an
Yeah,
Instagram
exactly, it's
highlight
weird.
series.
Yeah, but one of the things that continues to blow me away is we'll be watching a movie and he'll hear like a half of a note of a song, and he'll be like, "This is from American Beauty. This is the score from American Beauty." I'm like, "What?" And I just ignore him because I'm watching the show and I have to focus on that. And he's looking it up and he's like, see, this is so he can, or like when we were I feel like we were in Edinburgh and a song came on in the bookshop. Was that?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't the same. Maybe it was. And you're like, this is from
Might have
some
been.
movie.
She gets irritated with me too because when we'll be watching a show or a movie or anything, it doesn't even matter where we are in the film. It doesn't, or the show.
You know what's going to happen.
I'll
and
literally
then you tell me.
I know, and I
ruin
don't
it.
mean to, but like we were watching this show the other day, and nothing in the plot. It was supposed to be like a plot twist, and so like nothing in the plot gave away what was about to happen. And I literally go, "She has a gun aimed at him under the table," and Sarah's like, "What?" And I'm like,
And she did.
And 2 seconds
ruined-
later-
ruined it for me.
or like we what was it? Oh, speaking of, it was a show about autism. We were watching Atypical.
Oh,
And
no.
2 of the characters met at like the very beginning. Spoiler alerts. And I literally said, they're going to end up in a lesbian relationship. And Sarah's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, watch. And literally like
They
a
did.
whole season later, boom, there they were. And I was like, I knew it. I called that. And it really drives her crazy.
So you just gotta not listen to him whenever he makes predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
need to try to
yeah.
keep him quiet.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You should just start having some Mad Bull ones, so that she just believes them. Because if I write you are all the time,
That's
and then
true.
she'll be like, "Oh my god."
I'm gonna make up fake ones.
I'm
All right,
still
only,
trying to think of
only
weird
2 questions left. Yeah, you guys can come back to those at any
Yeah,
juncture
sure.
in this.
Okay.
Perfect.
2 left.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What do you feel like you do to help us? What is your role in keeping us balanced?
So I think I talked about this with Henry the other day too. I feel like there's a delicate balance between allowing you to like be yourself and and celebrate your oddities, but also push you to do things that are outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because if you just allow, like if I were to have just allowed you to be exactly who you are in the very beginning, we never would have gotten on an airplane.
That's true.
Ever.
Yeah, that's true.
That never would have happened.
Wow.
We never would have shot a wedding.
No.
You never would have like made friends. I mean, not
No,
made
you're-
friends,
yeah.
but you just
Or published. Yeah, I mean, nothing that.
or published any of your
Yeah.
work. So I think, but knowing when to pull back and when to push are
That's
There's
true.
definitely a balance,
Well, yeah.
It is.
but I do think like that is something common in ASD with just like where we do need that push.
Mm-hmm.
But it is.
Well, yeah, because I think you guys make like you have routines and you
Yeah.
have like habits that you do continuously through your life too. So I think it's hard to break those. Like
Yeah.
like him holding my hand and things like that, like pushing him to get out of like even on his bad days, pushing him to go for a walk or like
Yeah.
trying to be like, let's actually go outside for a bit. He'll hate it, but then he'll be like, actually, that made me feel a bit
I
better.
think I get very
you know, there's
I get
things like-
settled on a lot of things.
Yeah,
Like,
I think.
once I'm settled on something, like that's
Mhm.
my decision has been made. And
Yeah.
that's- you're not changing.
Well, he
that.
was never gonna go
But
to
then
New
you
Zealand.
came along and
He was like,
changed
no.
it. So
Yeah.
you know, but like in my mind, I'm like, you're never gonna change that. So It's
And
just,
then
like,
bam.
rejigging. Yeah.
You
And
just
it's
have to
also
be
I'm on a
sneaky
plane.
sometimes.
Yeah. And also
Yep.
like realizing like that you have things that you hate about yourself, but also he has so much confidence too in the way he is, and that's what made me love him in the first
I have
place.
a
Like he was just
strange
so
balance of a man.
certain, but then he's got so much insecurity, so it's like that weird thing where you
Yeah.
have to try
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and make sure he,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I
also like
like it.
hugs and making sure like, because when he gets like super overwhelmed, all I just need to do is tight squeeze
Sarah would just
Yep.
like
Yep.
crush me
and be like, come on,
and
just
like
come
put me in
here.
the smallest space ever and just like choke me out. But like
I love that.
You know?
All right, Ash, the last question is one that you came up with. And this is a good one.
Kind of nervous for this one.
Is there anything
know
that
this
you
one, I don't.
still struggle to understand now
Ooh.
that you feel like might be not cause for divide, but cause for strife or friction? Is there anything that still, after all this time, you still struggle to understand? And not that we're going to be able to help you understand it, but then at least we will be aware of your lack of understanding.
I think off the bat, I think it's how overwhelmed I get.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a big one that's quite a hard one to understand for you, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes you don't understand the extent of it, I
No.
don't think.
Mm.
Well, sometimes like it can be over something so small that like that just seems like it's hard for me to, and the way he's reacting is so intensely that I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes I have those moments too where I'm just like, what the hell is this?
Because I do have like I do get these times
You know,
where it's
so-
over something minute.
It is.
Yeah.
Most of the time
Yeah.
it is.
And
Like,
then I think that there's
Definitely.
definitely times when
Yeah.
you
Maybe not knowing what's gonna
Like what the triggers are.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, because there's some things that I know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Exactly.
God, here we go. This is gonna set him off.
Yeah.
But then the ones that sneak up on you, I guess those are the
Yeah.
you know,
And I
that
guess 'cause it can
surprise me. And
be-
I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what? What is
Why
the
that one?
problem?
And that's what's hard is we don't know either.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Ash, how do you, like, if you hurt yourself on accident, like stub your toe or something, does it just unhinge you?
Yeah, well, I guess a little. Not totally. It depends on the injury.
Yeah.
Tyler breaks whatever.
Whatever
holds
it
I
is,
mean, it's gone.
it's broken.
and there's a hole in it and it's gone.
It's bad. Like if I stub my toe on a chair, like I
The
throw it
chair's
off the
It's
deck.
gone.
And I don't mean to. I just
I
can't,
don't think
like,
you do that.
I can't, like, I get so, or like if the, like, I don't know, if like, I,
But
like,
then every once in a while you'll hurt yourself. Like when you hit your head the other day, I was like, oh God. And I was just waiting for the TV stand to be out the window and broken. And then he was fine.
that's because I
Yeah.
was doing something. I was like
no,
doing a
because
task.
there are times you're doing something and you punch a hole in the wall because
Yeah, that's true.
you got hurt.
One of the funniest ones was, what were we doing?
I
Or
don't
if,
know if it's
or
funny.
this one was funny in a bad way. Or if something that is one of my biggest set-offs is when something is supposed to work in a certain way and then it doesn't do its job or doesn't work for no reason. So like
That's with people.
that's with
too.
people too. So like one time we were working and I was trying to use my computer keyboard and it just kept having problems and the same keys kept not working. And it was literally a problem that was like costing me hours a week. And I was finally so irritated that in the middle of typing, I just went like this and I grabbed the keyboard and I threw it over the back of my head and it like hit the wall and crashed down. And I was just immediately, I felt better. I was just like, oh, okay, now we're
Relief.
good. Yeah.
But I think Ash has that kind of rage though.
I do have that
Like-
sort of rage. Like,
Sneaky rage.
Yeah, where he just outbursts, especially over the laptop. Laptops, he'll
Yeah.
smash the keys. And he
Yes.
does that.
And you're like, how is that gonna help?
I literally-
No, yeah, I'm like,
I
how is
literally
that? You
grab the
smash
laptop
screen
by
and,
the
like-
face and I'm like, why won't you listen to me?
Which
I'm
is
like,
funny
okay.
because things that you think would set us off don't. Like,
Yeah.
I could be walking down the street and somebody could come up to me and insult me with any insult they could possibly imagine. And I would just be like, cool, all right. But then like if somebody came up to Sarah and did something to Sarah, there would be like a human-sized cutout through the nearest wall. I would throw them through the wall and I wouldn't even mean to. I couldn't handle it. And it's
I get
weird
that
how
too.
selective
Yeah.
it is.
I think I'm like that about myself as well.
Yeah,
I'm more caring about Sav than I am about me.
for sure.
But yeah, it's definitely. But it's just little things that seem to set me off. Like I've done it. Like I break hangers a lot because I don't like how they look at me.
Literally, we were arguing the other day. I can't even remember what it was about. Can't remember. And he just snapped it in his hands like a little Hulk. And at least he stopped hitting himself.
Like, I'm going.
This is it. Hulk smash. I feel like that's a really good metaphor for people with ASD. Inside all of us, there's like a little Hulk that
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's like he needs to punch a pillow, you know? Like that's kind of what he needs to get.
I need
his
to buy.
anger out,
I need
or,
to buy like a punching bag. or,
He
like-
does.
We have one.
We
We
have
have
two.
two.
Three
Three.
doesn't help you.
We have
We
three.
have three.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have one that looks like a human for those days.
I've seen
We have
that
one that's
yeah.
really heavy for like bad days, because then I can, and if it's a really, really bad day, I won't even wear gloves, and then my knuckles get all bleedy, which is not a healthy thing. I'm not encouraging that.
No.
And then we have one other one that actually moves around, so it's harder to hit. So you have to like exhaust your brain trying to stay with it.
That's probably the best one to use.
It's a good one.
It's been quite good. Like I think we've definitely learned a lot here.
We have done. And I
We've
think
learned
that's
that
why
we need
this
hats.
episode, we need hats.
Definitely.
We need noise
Visual
canceling
cues.
earphones,
Mhm.
3 years training.
3 years training or a degree.
Yes.
Yes.
And this why this
Sleep.
episode obviously is longer than usual, because
Yes, it
we
is.
knew there was a lot more to cover. And I actually am glad that we gave this the space that it deserves.
Yeah, because I didn't want to rush this one,
Neither did I.
and like I didn't want
I
to.
think, like, I can speak to this because I am a parent too now. I think as a parent, your biggest worry, or at least mine, like the if you had to only narrow it down to one, is that you would think that your child wouldn't be loved or find love. And so I know, because I taught so many kids with autism, I know that is parents of kids who are on the spectrum, that is their number one concern is, oh my gosh, what if they never find love? What if, and I hope that this helps people
Me too.
understand that,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely not something that is out of the question.
No.
There are lots of ways to make that work.
I think Ash himself thought he'd never find love. For a while, you were literally like, I'm asexual.
Yeah.
And that was right when I met him too.
Because
And he
that was
like,
easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was easier. And he was just kind of like,
I think severity shifts it as well, but I think even if you're like more severe,
Mhm.
there is still hope there.
there is, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like that's important to point out because like we
Yeah.
are obviously very high functioning,
We are.
but it's like
Some
and I
days.
know that
Some days.
Some-
80%.
70-30.
Fine. But I think it is important to just point out that, like, even if you are more severe, it might be a little bit harder. You
Mhm.
know,
But it's
it
just-
might take a little bit longer. It might
and
take a bit
everyone's
more
lovable,
persuasion, a little
so-
bit,
Yeah.
a bit more. But you are gonna get there.
Yep.
And it might look different too. I think that's the other thing. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
look like what love looks like in movies, and
No.
No.
it might look way different, but it'll still be there. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Even people who are much less functioning, it is in the realm of possibility. It's
Mhm.
just you have to find the right combination of time and people and patience and everything else to make it work.
It's
And
like
even
you,
if it's not love, like it can
Romantic
still be
love.
friendship, and
Yes.
like that's so important. That's a different kind of love,
that
and
is.
they'll
Yeah.
have people. They'll always have people.
They always have
Yeah.
people.
You bring up
Perfect.
you bring up the TV show a lot, like Atypical,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great example of like a love that is in a movie, or like something
Yeah.
that you'd expect a
Yeah,
relationship to
typical.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's so happy in it, and he thinks he's in this serious relationship, and like you know what I mean. And it's a bit more. It's not what you'd expect.
No,
Yeah.
it's atypical.
It is.
Exactly. So just don't
Somewhere
have
on the spectrum.
expectations. It could just
Yeah.
be something you don't even imagine it to be.
Which that's full circle, because that was the first thing Sav said today was, she all about the expectations. Like
Exactly.
you do and you don't. And with people like us, you just kind of have to change them.
Yes.
All right, Ash, do you want to stay with our tradition? And I thought for our tradition this time, we would previously, before recording, we let the ladies pick which poem we're gonna read.
Who wants to go
So-
first?
I want you to go first. I want to know what poem did Sav request that you read?
Well, you just tell them.
Although in fairness, you gave me about 30 seconds
I
to
did do.
choose.
But I also gave her parameters. I
asking
said
what?
I wanted it to be loosely about her because she's the reason why I am where I am. So
Well, if I had to do one about you, I know which one you'd pick. You'd pick soy sauce and noodles.
Yeah.
And if
No,
it
but I
wasn't,
want you to do.
and if it wasn't about you, it would be raw.
Yeah.
So which one? I got both. There's soy sauce, or I can do raw.
I think raw.
Okay, raw.
I like raw.
Fine. This isn't about Sav at all, but it's about mental health a lot.
Oh yeah, I guess if we're doing relationships, but
Well, which one do you want?
I don't know
Well, they could
now.
think about it. You could go.
yeah, if you
You
want to
have
wait a
one.
minute, I have one. Sarah picked.
Sav's gonna ponder on it, and
Okay.
then we're gonna get down to the brass tacks later.
Brass tacks. All right. Excuse me. Sarah picked one that is because I made her pick one that's basically about her. And this is one of her favorite ones about her. Even though out of all 3,000, like 2,930 are about her. This is one of her
Yeah, and
favorites.
you gave me 30 seconds.
And I
to
gave her
choose.
30 seconds. It's called I don't know what number it is. It's in the typewriter series, but originally it was called Roots. I think she has roots in the soles of her feet, and when she walks, she plants herself into the earth and lets the earth take hold of her. I think if you listen close enough for long enough, you could just make out the sound of those roots and those soles lifting through the soil, sighing in the sunlight and digging their way back into the darkness with each and every step. I've met people who are fire, all flame and spark and the promise of combustion. Without fail and without doubt, I've been burned and boiled and left with nothing but the residue of the ash they left behind on my skin. I have felt the breezes of people who are wind, airy and light and always drifting. They cool the soul, and for a moment you close your eyes and feel their breath across your face, but always, always open them sometime or another to their absence. They always, always blow away, and you're left with tousled hair and the numbness where they rested. I think I am the water, and I think I always have been. I go my own way, and somehow, without knowing how, find my way through the cracks and crevices, the holes and grooves in the rocks that form around these fragile hearts. I think she is the earth and has roots in her soles and leaves in her hair. She curls her toes in the sand and braces herself against the wind, defiant against the flames, and holds tight to the world as it spins beneath her. We spin, and only she can feel it. I think she has roots, and her roots need water, and I am the water and always have been, and know and hold the secrets to sinking beneath the soil and giving strength to the growth that's been waiting to come. Some people are fire and some are wind, but we are water and earth, and through the roots on her feet and the leaves in her hair, she will drink me and absorb all I have ever been. I can hear the sound of her footsteps now.
Aww.
I can't click Sav, so we can't
I
do
know.
that.
I have to do this ad.
Sav can do it for you. She can be your Foley artist for your snapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound.
Do you know what? Like, I think that poem there is such a nice little love poem that
Yeah, you have to do.
I think I should do soy sauce and noodles just
Even though
to
it's
show
funny, yeah.
the polar opposite of styles
Yeah.
and the polar opposite of how I'm saying it. This one's a little bit rude at times, but it's fine. I called it soy sauce and noodles because I had to call it something, and Sav at that time was going through a phase of loving soy sauce and noodles.
That's perfect.
And that's literally the only reason why it's called that.
I love it.
I only tell you I love you 1,000,000 times a day, and there's parts of me that doesn't think that's enough. So in comes this poem. If this was decades ago, I'd probably tell you something like this: the songs on the radio suddenly make sense. However, the songs these days are all twerky. Baby, you do got back, but even I know dry humping still isn't romantic. You make me want to light candles and squint to find the sexy. We can get some flowers that I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to, but we won't let the swollen eyes stop us. You ready for the worst joke you ever heard? Right now. We'll call it role play, and I'll call you Adrian. And no matter how rocky this road gets, we'll find our way through it. You're not half full or half empty. You're the overflowing cup of rainbows and stardust that occasionally makes me sick. I don't mean that in a bad way. You make me the happiest I've ever been. I'm just not sure. I'm not used to how this tastes. Like, sure, I'm still depressed because I don't think there's any fix in this, babe. Although this depression isn't punching me in the face telling me to die, it's just kicking me in the shins telling me I'm ugly. This depression is the serial killer who found Jesus and is reconsidering his life choices. Our love is the answer to the ever-burning question of what would happen if Jack the Ripper took up gardening. I forgot how good this poem was. You make me happy at times where I would just like to be sad. And I try to hide it, but you make me smile all the goddamn time. I now have an abundance of things that I never knew I could have an abundance of, like boners or positive thoughts about summer. Before you, I try to escape the sun, but now I want... You're looking right at me, which is like not helping. But now I want to run into it holding your hand, humming love songs I used to hate. It's also hard to escape something you wake up next to. Basically, thank you. Thank you for turning these eggs from scrambled to sunny side up. Thank you for being you and loving me for being me. I'm sure there are hunkier, more manly men, but you chose me. I don't have muscles or a six-pack, but I have a coupon for a free dozen donuts and it's got our faces on it. So let's grow young together. Let's make mistakes and regret nothing, but together. Because we're like when PP met Jay, or when Mac first made love to cheese. Our love, it's revolutionary. And the best part is, you don't even know it yet.
I love that one. I'm glad you chose that one.
That one's Sal's favorite love poem, which is weird. Because when I wrote it, I was like...
Oh.
Well, there's
like,
so many, but that one's just like my favorite performance.
yeah, it is.
And also, when he first read it, I'd never heard it before, and I was in a room full of people. I was bright red.
Aw.
And, like,
It's literally
dying.
like a full room of people.
And everyone was
performed
laughing at me. Like,
And everyone's like, that's the lady in charge of his boners.
yeah, exactly.
That's beautiful.
Oh.
That's a
All
beautiful
right,
line.
guys.
So great.
Well, this was amazing. This was episode 5. And I think we're going to have to bring these two back for a future episode because this went swimmingly.
As we always say at the end, like, if you have more questions,
Yep.
send them over. We want to answer them.
Yes,
And
we
if
do.
you got questions for these two,
They will also answer.
I can answer.
we can bring them back, and
Yeah.
it'd be wonderful.
And I think based on our fixed screens, somewhere here and
Yeah.
here will be episodes that you might have missed. And then somewhere where Ash is, right, where Sav's face is a way to you can subscribe to us. So you can always know when a new one of these pops up.
Exactly.
And we would love it.
Click on this pretty face. And then...
Click on that face there. All right, everybody, stay safe and
We'll
we
see
love
you
you all.
soon.